Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Hello everyone and welcome to Apex Online Racing Formula 1 action. We are here today in Spielberg for round number 6 for the PC European F1 Championship. The Austrian Grand Prix is brought to you by our sponsors, Elgato, SIMSOK, and Driver61. I'm Fizzymon and I'll be your host today. Not sure if Benikage will be here alongside me today. I do forget if he told me if he would make it or not, but hopefully we get him in the box. If not, it'll just be me. And that's how it's going to be going about today. Now, before we get into standings or anything else, I just want to make it clear that AOR is aware of the in-game glitches that have been happening across other leagues and whatnot recently. And so we are aware of what is going on, and we'll be doing the best we can to get you guys a great race today. Now, give me one moment, and I'll be right back. Situated, just confirming a couple things. Now, let's go over and take a look at our championship standings presented by Folksy Cash. Now, of course, thank you again to our sponsors, Driver61, SIMSOK, and Elgato. And here we are, our Tier 1 championship standings. At the top, Jan Fehler retaking the championship lead, 83 points to his name after a very strong podium drive last week in Paul Ricard. Ripson had the opposite fortune happen to him, got into a little bit of an incident early on, and only managed to finish in P12 out of the points. Up to third, however, in the championship is FVR Darn, 48 points to his name. Sauerbraten drops down to fourth after not racing the last two events, and F1 Racer is holding fifth position for the Tifosi. The Zerv team is still leading the way, but McLaren is our leading constructor, 89 to 76 points, 13-point gap there. But to the Williams team, who is definitely coming very hard, because Darn and Patrick had a 1-2 last week, looking to hopefully get the same fortunes here. Alpine running in fourth, and Ferrari down in fifth place. So that is our Tier 1 standings for this week. We've had 4 race winners in 5 races. Will we get a 5th winner, or will we get a repeat winner? Who knows? Now, F2 standings, as always, are going to be found over on the F2 stream, so go ahead and check them out. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the F3 standings right now. Creepy Drive leading the way after winning in Paul Ricard over Scrag. He's got an absolutely enormous lead, 44 points to his name. The Aston Martin driver absolutely dominating the field with only one race where he didn't get a podium. Molken is coming home in P3 for the Alpine, Kanako in fourth, and Speed rounding out the top 5 for the Williams. Now, Aston Martin, as expected, leading the constructors over here in tier number 3. Alfa Romeo, though, holding on to second place with 81 points. Haas in third, barely ahead of Williams in fourth, and Ferrari rounding out the top 5 for F3. Now to F4, the championship standings. Gerard still leading the way, the Romanian, increasing his gap after another race victory in Paul Ricard over Balu. Balu in the McLaren with 70 points, 22 points back from our leader. Leonard is holding third. Sly up into fourth, overtaking Ludimir, who could not race the last two events. Now, as Constructors, AlphaTauri has a very commanding 35-point lead over McLaren, Alpine in third, Red Bull in fourth, and Williams rounding out the top five for F4. Now, on to F5. F5 is led by the Danish driver Victor Vaza in the Ferrari. He's got a 10-point gap over the hard-charging Max Duca, who's got 2 race victories in the last 2 events. The Italian driver moving up 2 spots into second place. Dak Attack holding on to third. Tom Dejede in fourth. And Cini, after an unfortunate P12 finish, is down into fifth, losing 3 positions. Ferrari is leading the Constructors Championship, led by Victor Vaza. 111 over the 87 points over Alfa Romeo, who's got a huge gap back to Aston Martin with 57 points for a very close battle for third between them, Haas, and Williams. Last but not least, for the PC main league standings, we have Tier 6. Now, Tier 6 is now a combination of Tier 6 and Tier 7, as Tier number 7 disbanded due to a lack of attendance. Very unfortunate tier. But Tier 6, led by the British driver Boxafrog. He is the new championship leader in the Mercedes. He's got a 7-point gap over RF Gangster. Skady in third position right now with 68 points to his name. Has just jumped Lucio in the Haas, who's got 62 points in fourth. And Luzio, a couple very similar spelling names there. The German driver down in fifth for Aston Martin. Mercedes has drivers first and third in the Drivers' Championship, and they are leading the way in Constructors by a long shot at 152 points to the 88 to Haas in second, who did just overtake the Alfa Romeo team for that position, who drops down to third. Aston Martin up 2 positions into the top 5, up into fourth, as they are ahead on aggregate over Williams, who is down in P5. Now, that is our main league championship standings. Now, over to the assist leagues. AL1 is led by the Scottish driver, Avi. He's got 3 wins to his name. Can he make it 4? He's got 98 points, 18 points, ahead of McBlurk in second place, who is looking very, very strong around Austria, hoping to take another race victory to his name and close that gap to the Scottish driver up front. Tom 24 in third, Froxer in fourth, followed by Karnak in fifth. Now, the McLaren team is leading the way due to Avi's absolutely dominant season so far in the McLaren, 113 to the 90, set up by the AlphaTauri team, who's mainly carried by McBlurk. However, that Ferrari duo, even though they just dropped to third, they're still running fourth and fifth in the championship standings. So do expect to see them try to battle AlphaTauri and try to close the gap on McLaren up ahead for Constructors. Mercedes is holding fourth, and Aston Martin down in fifth with 40 points. Now, over to AL2, which is led by Scorp, the Red Bull driver, leading the way. He's up 3 positions, and he's our new championship leader after his main rivals could not race last week and Beyond and Ted. So Scorp not only took advantage of that, but he took advantage of it by taking a race victory. So Scorp currently leading our championship in AL2. Beyond is in second place after not being able to race. And then in third position, after also not being able to race, was Ted. In fourth is Ahoy Browse, and rounding out the top 5 is Sam Rambo. Over to the Constructors Championship, Red Bull leading the way. New championship leader, thanks to Scorp. 84 to 79 over McLaren, so very close here. Aston Martin down a position with 71 points to their name. Williams in fourth, 67 points. Alpine in fifth with 59. So relatively close Constructors still. A lot can go on here. Now, we're going to look at AL3, led by Delta, leading the way in his Alfa Romeo. Apologies for it being a little cut off this time around. Delta still does not have a win to his name, but he's leading the Drivers' Championship by 3 points over Catalini, who DNF'd last week at Paul Ricard. Deadeye is in third after not able to race last week. Schwabizek has finished first and second in his 2 races here in AL3. He is up into fourth position, and Right Axe is holding home fifth. Now, the McLaren team is leading the way with their 2 drivers in the top 5. They are leading with 95 points to Alfa Romeo's 82. So not a big gap there, but a gap nonetheless. Aston Martin is in third. AlphaTauri jumps up into fourth, and Red Bull up 2 positions up into fifth. Now over to AL4 for the PC side is led by Charles Leclerc. He's been leading the championship for a while now, but Metza trying to close the gap. Now, Metza did not race last week, but Charles Leclerc did not score any points. So that's the top 2 championship runners, but the third one, Kozine, up 2 positions with 59 points, 9 points behind his teammate after winning Paul Ricard on a huge jump. up into third. FSN Archer, down a position, is in fourth. And Wojtek is in fifth, rounding out the top five. Now, Mercedes with their duo leading the way by almost double the points of Aston Martin, who is in a very highly contested second-place battle with them, Red Bull and Haas, and AlphaTauri not too far behind. Now going into into AL5, our last PC league for today, is Messiah Complex is leading the way. New championship leader. He got another podium last time out. Daniel moves up into second place after getting a race victory in Paul Ricard, 2 points behind Messiah Complex, while Bullet Rider loses his championship lead. But he's only 8 points behind after DNFing the last two events, so he could very easily come back. Scordo down into fourth, and White Wolf is in fifth. Now, the McLaren team leading the way. They just took the championship lead over Alpine after having a very strong result, with both their drivers scoring decent points. Alpine in second, Mercedes up 3 positions into third. Alfa Romeo down to fourth, and Haas is in fifth. Now, this is one of the splits where they've had a different winner each race, and Messiah Complex is not a race winner here. So definitely interesting to see how some of these splits have done with some of these drivers. Some of these championship leaders have not won a race, but they've just been consistent, and consistency is king here in AOR. Now, the Xbox standings, of course, we do not have because they have their unofficial stream over on Twitch. Go ahead and check them out. Is Andy T. It's the numbers that I keep forgetting each week. But they do have, if you go ahead and look up on Apex Online Racing Twitch stream, you should find the Xbox stream and the Xbox League. And you can find the championship standings for them over there on Xbox. Now, we're going to go over to the PlayStation main leagues, which currently, Tier 1, we have a new championship leader. The Dutch driver of Jero Schiff up into the lead. It was the 14-point lead over the previous championship leader of MCMU Rally Monst after Jero Schiff got another podium. Does not have a win on the season, so he's one of those guys who does not have a win, but he did get a podium. He's got a 14-point lead over the Red Bull driver who did not get a point last week. TRM Victor did not race last week. He is holding third position. Solid Ninja Snake up into fourth, while Tash22KA down into fifth. Not a good race for the championship front-runners, except for Jero Schiff in the Spiff, while Alpine leads the constructors, taking the lead, led by their main driver. AlphaTauri 13 points behind. Red Bull in third place, Aston Martin in fourth, and McLaren in fifth. So, relatively close constructors championship here. Now, AL2 for the PlayStation side. I'm not sure if... Okay, did get updated in time. The remaining driver of Andrei Ivan leading the championship right now in his Red Bull, holding fast, but he's got a Worthington 14 AlphaTauri driver coming very, very hard onto him right now. Up into second place, 3 places up, 58 points to his name after getting a race victory in Paul Ricard. Super Jesse drops down into third in the Alfa Romeo. Elysium also dropping a position into fourth, and Kerry DeRucker up a position and tied with Elysium, and is now in fifth, due off of aggregate. Now, the AlphaTauri team, 2 of their drivers in the top 5. Well, they are leading the constructors by a nice 12 points over the Red Bull team, who is miles ahead of Aston Martin, who just jumped up into third, followed by Alfa Romeo and Williams. Now, for AL3 on the PlayStation side, this is our last championship standing that we'll be going through. It's led by Zoja, and the McLaren still leading the way after yet another race victory to his name. No Mercy, though, back up into second place after getting some good points and a P4, is leading the way over the 2 Mercedes drivers of Donk Danks and F1 fan Liam. Liam could not race last week. Donk Danks was able to get a point and now has jumped his teammate in the championship standings. Actually, no, excuse me. Liam did race, only came home in P10. Donk Danks had P5, was able to jump his teammate, while Mika SLR is holding fifth after not racing last week. The McLaren team leading the way by 34 points over Mercedes with one of the higher Constructors Championship totals to their name. Mercedes, though, with 104, a very, very big number nonetheless. Alfa Romeo in third, Red Bull in fourth, and AlphaTauri rounding out our top 5. Now, that is our championship standings, so we're going to go ahead and go back to the cover screen. Hopefully I ran through them all very, very nicely. Our drivers are in the lobby. We have almost a completely full grid, so that is going to be very great to see today. And so, yes, we are going to be getting underway momentarily for you guys. Whew, that was a long run through. Let me know if you got any comments about the championship standings. You know, you got anyone you're cheering for today. Hello, Hittinen. Are you not able to race today? hopefully you could be on track. Oh, no, you are racing. You just got this on in the background. Well, hopefully you have a good race here, and then you've had some good results, and let's see what you can do here in the Red Bull ring now. I think it'll be an interesting one. Got a lot of people love this track. It's definitely a fan favorite. You go online, everyone's playing Austria, it seems. So, who will win is going to be a big question mark. I think we could get a new race winner today. I mean, I've seen in some of the races I've commentated over here in AOR on the PC side, for Austria specifically, it's always been a fireworks race. There's always been great action, and my breath is going to be destroyed by the end of this race. So I think we're in for a very nice treat here today. But before we go ahead and get rolling while we're waiting for the drivers to get up, let's go ahead and give a little shout out to our sponsors. First off, we have Elgato. Be sure to visit Elgato's website for more information about their amazing Stream Deck. It's a very good tool and makes streaming very, very easy. Thank you to SIMSOK. Don't use any socks when driving in your league or endurance races. Use socks that will give you the competitive edge. With SIMSOK's gripping technology, you will eliminate any issues where your feet might slip off the gas or the brake, giving you the competitive edge over your rivals. Be sure to check them out at simsok.com today. And last but not least, thank you to Driver61. Now, Driver61 is a renowned content creator who you may have seen online, and it's a brilliant channel for learning more about the science behind racing. However, he also offers coaching sessions and consultation sessions with 25% off a consultation test session plus a free coaching session when you use code AOR Driver61. Learn more at driver61.com. Thank you once again to Elgato, SIMSOK, and Driver61. Yes, it's going to be a very, very eventful race. We've got, of course, got the airborne fans here once again. It's always good to see you guys. Well, hopefully they do well. We got Sauerbraten back here in the lobby today. That's great to see. So it's good to have some guys come back. We have some of the reserve drivers in today. The confirmed no-shows, I know Minty called out about an hour before the race started. That was due to him having, I believe he's got some kind of health issue. So it's very unfortunate to hear. Hopefully you feel better, Minty, if you were watching. Another driver who called out for today was Tom Donnell. He said he was unable to race today. So unfortunate. But we still got 18 drivers. We will be getting into the lobby very, very shortly. And it's going to be a good one. Now, of course, we got to all remember that there is something that people have to know. When they're entering the pit lane, you have to stay within the white lines. The white lines begin before the penultimate corner. So anyone who enters the pits after the white line has started and crosses over the white line to enter the pits, that is going to be a penalty. So hopefully all the drivers do remember that. Hopefully they saw the little briefing, and that will be all underway. Now, yes, we're waiting for the lobby to get started, so do apologize for the delay. But hopefully I can keep you guys a little entertained in the meantime. So. I wish you could do. I don't know how to do this on. Oh, I can create a poll. Let's do this. We're gonna do a poll on who we think is gonna get pole position. I'm gonna give it for you guys. We're gonna give a couple options here today. I think there's a couple. We're gonna go for a couple of the favorites. Who else? Who else has gotten? Let's see. Our only pole sitters, I believe, this season, only pole sitter, I believe, has been Failer. So the question is, has anyone else been on pole? No. All right. All right, we got a poll for you guys here watching while we're loading into the lobby. Should be able to see it. Hopefully it went up. I guess we'll find out very shortly. If you guys can see it, let me know. There it goes. Who will qualify on pole? The options are Jan Failer, Ripson, F1 Racing, and other. Now, Jan Failer has gotten pole on every race, so he'd definitely be a favorite. However, Ripson's been very quick too, and F1 Racer has also shown some very, very good pace in qualifying. So definitely do not sleep on those drivers. Now, good news, we are currently on track right now, so we're going to go ahead and bring you guys on over. I'm going to go ahead. Also, I'm going to quickly ask for a weather update. So hopefully we can get that taken care of. All right, the weather for the race. If the game can please let me see the message. I love not being. I love when the game decides that no, it's just not going to work for me. Yeah, so we're just alone in the box tonight. Very unfortunate. I'm going to see if hold on. Let me just see if I can get a weather update from Failer. Yeah, so apologies for that. But yeah, drivers are going out on track, being led by Daniel Rocker. The reserve driver is in the Mercedes this week, so he's helping in for Minty. He's one of our 18 drivers on the grid today. He's going out on the medium tire, so that might suggest a dry race. But we're not going to jinx it just yet because so here's the weather. So good thing we didn't I did jinx it. So dry quality, dry start to the race, rain in the final phase. So it's going to be an interesting strategy call here today in AOR, as there will be some rain at the end of the race. Schwalbe confirming in the chat for the Airborne team. But we're going to go ahead and ride on board with Daniel Rocker. He's the first driver starting a hot lap, so we're going to go ahead and give him the spotlight. Fifth gear through turn 1, opening up the DRS, keeping as much grip as possible. And the medium's a little bit harder to go through the lap, but now coming up into turn 3, which is not really turn, but it is what it is. 16 flat first sector, very heavy braking into the hairpin of turn 3, holding third gear, short shifting up to fourth, and now it's flat out on the run into turn number 4. DRS straight, 1 of 3 around this track, which will make it very, very hard. Very late braking into turn number 4. Goes a little deep though, missing the apex. That'll cost him a 10th or so. And now through turn 5, and now turn 6, the left-hander holding 5th gear, hugging the apex, slamming on the throttle, letting the car drift over the curb. And now through turn 7, holding off throttle as long as possible, and then slamming it once again. A very fast double left-hander there. And now we're going through turn 8 and now 9. Very fast, holding 7th gear and flat out. Now turn 10 down to 5th gear and on exits flat out, but he invalidates on the exit, so that's very unfortunate to see. But that is the risk you run when trying to maximize your lap time around Austria, because not only did he invalidate on the final corner for that lap, he also invalidated for his next run as well. That is the risk of Austria, because the track limits will be tricky as our mate goes on a provisional pole. So now looking at it, our mate leading the way. A couple other drivers crossing the line to start their flying laps. Galaxy, his teammate, goes a 10th quicker, and Goat Richie B down with a 104.5 in third. We're actually going to go ahead and switch it up. We have a spin turn 1. That is one of the Aston Martins. I don't think that's Sauerbraten. That is his teammate of Juka. Sauerbraten, though, did just go on provisional pole with a 103.8. But everyone out on track flying right now. We'll take a look at Jan Fehler, 15.9 at first sector. That's not purple. So the question is, who is going purple right now? We know Donut Hole's in the final corner. Behind him, we got the Mercedes duo. It is Rivershan and Daniel Rocker. Rocker's into the pits, but Rivershan invalidates on the final corner. That's unfortunate. Is hitting in the next driver up. He is. The Finnish driver out of the final corner, keeps it on track. Will he take provisional pole away? No, he will not. Very close, but no cigar for him. Our mate, though, goes within a 10th of Sauerbraten. Very, very good lap there. Field Racing Seb, meanwhile, is facing the wrong way in a Sector 3. That's not what you want to see, but here comes Jan Fehler, who invalidated his first attempt. Not sure if that was intentional or not, but that is very unfortunate for him. Behind him is Richie B returning into the pits, followed by Galaxy. Is Sauerbraten on a lap? No, Sauerbraten to the pits as well. A lot of drivers, you know, bailing out on this run, coming back into the pits. You see Juka still going right now, but he had a spin in turn number 1. Behind him is Tudor, who invalidated his run as well. So track limits catching out a lot of drivers here today. Here comes Darn. No, Darn's into the pits. Is that Kev Genetics? That is Kev Genetics coming out of the final corner. It's 104.1. Good enough for 7th position. Purple final sector, though, so there might be more time for Kev in this lap. So we're gonna keep an eye on him now. Go on board with him. Can Kev improve on this lap? Will he go twice? He doesn't have that much battery, though, so Let's see, he's improving by a lot through Sector 1. Will Kev keep with it? We'll have to wait and see. It looks like he's using battery, so Kev Genetics looking to try to improve on his first run. There's plenty of time to do a lot of runs along this track because, as you can see, it's a very short lap with a 1:03.8 being pole right now. But Kev on a strong lap right now. What can the German driver do with his Alpine using all the curb? He's still almost 2/10 improving. So not a great middle sector for him. A yellow flag behind him. I believe that is Donut Hole. And now the Alpine driver's got 2 corners to go. Oh, and losing the rear end a little bit going into 9 is not going to help the final end of his lap. His rears are definitely a little overheated. Is able to get the power down out of turn number 10 and cross the line. He does improve by a 10th. It goes up into P6. I believe that is most of the drivers done with their first run. Donut Hole did have the off. He's returning back into the pits. Daniel Rocker is going to start a lap, while the likes of Tudor, I believe, is on an invalidated lap, and in front of him is his teammate. So we'll keep an eye on Rocker for the moment. So Daniel Rocker, 16.2, very slow into the hairpin. It looks like he's not really trying on this lap. He might have backed out of it at the last second. So unfortunate to see him, but it's all good. We will carry on. That's for sure. Let's see who is on a lap right now. It looks like Richie B was on a lap, but he's off the track. That is not going to help his chances at competing another valid lap as he's on the medium tire. We have an Alfa Romeo in Sector 3. That is Ripson. Ripson looking to challenge for pole. His first lap was a 10th and a half off his airborne teammate. We're going to go ahead and look at it as a 1:03.9 for the German driver. What can he do this time around, though? Let's keep an eye on him, because Ripson, he is one of the guys we voted for, to get on pole position. We're going to end the poll right now. We got 13 votes, and we're going to see who's going to win the poll. So the most of the votes did go to Jan Fehler, as he is the favorite, but currently he's on a set of mediums, so maybe he won't get pole with him being on the mediums. So we're going to see who is going to qualify on pole. Ripson, though, he's pushing. German driver looking pretty good in the Alfa Romeo, but did he back out of his lap? Hard to tell, actually. 44.3, not really improving that much, though, on this lap. Question is, can he find time in the final sector? He's not purple, and it's looking like his teammate in Sauerbraten is going to stay up on the front row at this time. Ripson, though, coming out of the final corner now, keeps it valid. What does the championship contender do when he crosses the line? It's a 1:03.840. He's 1,000th of a second behind Sauerbraten, who holds on to provisional pole position. But let's go ahead and take a look at Jan Fehler's just up the road. He's got one of the Haas's behind him as well. Jan on a lap on his medium. Actually, no, he's on it. He's backed out of his lap by the looks of it. He's recharging his battery. It looks like that is Tudor behind him, who is on an out lap. Meanwhile, F1 Racer just did a 1:03.9. That's a 10th off of pole position. But still, a lot of guys not really pushing on these first laps. I wonder if they're running setups that just aren't as fast, or they're just struggling out there. Not really sure what is going on, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, F1 Racer currently on track right now. Let's keep an eye on some of these other drivers. Jan Fehler crossing the line to start his lap. Tudor behind him in a tow. Well, Jan Fehler, excuse me, he's starting another lap. He didn't really push on that previous one because he's 3 seconds off pole. Patrick, though, in the Williams, goes up to provisional pole by half a tenth. A very, very good lap by the Williams driver, who's currently on the front row. Jan Fehler, though, let's keep an eye on him. That's Richie B. Jan Fehler, though, what can he do on the medium tire? You can see Kev on the mediums right now. Let's look at the guys who are on their best lap, as F1 Racer takes provisional pole on the soft tire. Now let's go ahead and look at the best lap times. Darn in P9 on the mediums. So if you want to get into the top 10, you got to do a 1:03 on the medium tires. It's going to be tricky. Question is, does Jan Fehler have it in him? He's 2.2 faster right now, so he's looking quick. He's just got to keep it valid. We do have a yellow flag at the end of Sector 1, start of Sector 2. Looks like a little bit of an issue into the hairpin. Let's keep on board with the German driver. What can he do? He's keeping it nice and tidy. Coming out of the final corner, he's on track, so he will keep it valid. He's going to cross the line. He does a 1:03.8. That's good enough for P3 on the mediums. What a lap by Failer. I think that he might just stick with that lap time because he will certainly start in the top 10 at this rate on that tire. A fantastic lap by our championship leader. You can see behind him Tudor doing what he can on the soft rubber, getting a little bit of a free toe off of Failer as he continues and carries on with his next lap. We do have a Alpine driver, I believe that's Kev Genetics, coming out of the final corner on the mediums. He does a 1:04.2. He does not improve this time around. He's going to go again, though, by the looks of it, trying to improve on his time, getting the top 10 on the mediums, eating the sausage curb at turn number 1. Doing a very, very good job. Is that Rivershan coming out of the final corner? Yes, that is. He's the only driver to not set a valid lap time. And yeah, Failer is built different. Rivershan goes up into 17th with a not respective lap time at all. So that is unfortunate for him, and he invalidates turn 1. Meanwhile, Tudor in the final sector. He's 2/10 up on his lap in the softs. What does Tudor have to do? Now, he almost won in Baku, but then he spun out of the final corner or onto the final back straight and did not do anything. But Tudor improves by a 10th, does a 1:03.9. And he is only up into 9th position. Behind him, we have an Alpine driver coming into the pits, and then we also have Jan Failer returning into the pits as well. So not much in the way of drivers on a lap. Daniel Rocker into the pits. 6 minutes left in the session. Plenty of time to go. So a lot of action still to play. Our mate invalidated his outlap, but he's still hanging on in the meantime. Just going to go ahead and check something real quick for you. We're going to ride on board with our mate here. I'm going to look at his current tire right now. Yeah, his current tire is on a fresh set of softs. The best lap was on 2-lap-old softs. What does our mate have to do? Can he improve on that P7? He's got a very strong lap here. He's putting together one of his better qualifying performances. That is always good to see. But now we'll have to see what he can do on the rest of his lap. It's looking like you need to do like a 44 and change middle sector. That's kind of looking like what the standard has been. What does he do here? It's a 44.4. He's about even on his previous lap. But can our mate find time in the final sector to improve on his P7? Also, Sauerbraten is up there. No, our mate's going to return to the pit, so he's going to bail out on this lap. Sauerbraten, meanwhile, he was on pole for the longest time, and now he's coming out once again. And what does he have for us here today? We're going to ride on board with him. Or not ride on board. We're going to keep an eye on the Aston Martin driver. He's one of the only drivers currently on a hot lap. Ripson actually is on one. Who am I kidding? Ripson is on one, but he's not improving this time around. Sauerbraten is on a lap. Donut Hole did just start a lap, I believe. And then we do have a Haas driver in Sector 3. That is Richie B. Is he improving? Keep an eye on the Dutch driver. He's 4/10 up through Sector 2. It's a 44.6, but he's going to get very squirmy coming to the final corner. That's probably going to ruin this lap for him as he crossed the line. Does a 1:04.7. Hittenen's on an outlap right now, but we're going to keep an eye on Sauerbraten. He did improve a little bit through the first sector. So what does the Aston Martin driver have in store? End of Sector 2, he's purple. He's up by almost 2/10. He needs to find a couple thousandths of a second to pip F1 Racer for that pole position. But right now he's on track to get on the front row. Can Sauerbraten get that little bit of extra time here coming through 9 and 10, flat out to the line? He barely keeps it on track. What does Sauerbraten have? He has provisional pole with a 1:03.6, 29 thousandths of a second ahead of F1 Racer. Great, great lap by the Aston Martin driver, moving up from the reserves. Great to have you back. And so far looking very, very good for his chances. We do have yellow flag in Sector 3. That is car slowing up the start. Actually, is that Ripson who's around? No, that's his teammate Leors who was around. Oh, no, that was Ripson around. Excuse me. So Ripson making a horrible mistake somewhere on his lap. He's on the mediums right now. It's going to be very hard to beat his soft tire time, that's for sure. He's on the mediums. This lap will probably be a wash considering he started it in like 4th gear. Unfortunate to see, but his teammate though, Leors, is on a lap right now. What does his Israeli driver have in store? We'll have to keep an eye on that. But Hittenen's coming through the final sector right now. He's almost improved by a 10.5, but he's going to invalidate the final corner and the next lap. So the Finnish driver's going to have to hurry back to the pits if he has to have a chance to even do one more lap, but it's going to be cutting it close. He's got to be mighty quick now as there's under 3 minutes left to go in the session as drivers begin their final hot lap here on track. Galaxy on the soft tire. Everyone but Failer qualified. Well, let's look at it right now. So Ripson's on the mediums. He's doing what he can. But the guys who qualified on the mediums in the top 10 were Field Racing Seb and Failer. Both drivers. Well, actually, Seb is currently on track right now on the softs. Will he try to improve this time? We'll have to wait and see what he can do. But he did a 103.9 on mediums. But Daniel Rocker goes provisional pole on the softs with a 103.5. The question is, does the likes of Failer or Seb decide to pip him off of the front row once they put on a set of softs, which are 4.5 tenths quicker than the rest of the field? But great lap by the reserve driver in Daniel Rocker, currently sitting on the front row. Sauerbraten drops down to P2, looking to hopefully get it out on track in time. But now we look at it. Looks like we got our mate coming through the middle sector. Galaxy is currently finishing his lap. We have a Mercedes off, though, at the end of the lap. I think that's Rivershine. Rivershine barely avoiding the wall. We got 1:48 left to go in the session. Richie B starting a lap. No, he's in the middle sector. Excuse me. Sorry. That is his teammate starting a lap of Tudor. As Rivershine does retire from the session, we'll have to see, is that an illegal retirement? He put it into the wall by the looks of it. So now the times are all going to start flying in now as we get to close to a minute to go. Everyone's starting their final hot lap. I believe that is first. It's going to be Richie B's coming around the final corner. And Alpine's slowing, up. One of the Williams pairs at Darn. Darn invalidated this lap coming through the final sector. Next up is Daniel Rocker, who's returning to the pits. He will retire as he is currently sitting on provisional pole position with a 1:05 left. Next up, that is not our mate. Next one up is Galaxy. Galaxy is improving by 2 tenths. Can Galaxy put it into the top 5, which is where it's looking like right now? Daniel Rocker does retire in the pits. That makes the most sense. And here comes Galaxy, crosses the line. He goes up into 6th position, right alongside Jan Failer. But does he have enough time to do one more lap? We'll have to wait and see. Failer, meanwhile, in Sector 2 right now. Donahoe is the next one to cross the line to begin his final flying lap. Is that Seb. Seb's returning to the pits. He wants to start on the medium, so he's P11. He will not improve on that. Behind him, I believe, was Tudor. Tudor going to cross the line, will not improve on his time. Maybe he's got enough time for one more. F1 Racer, though, starts a lap very close behind the Haas driver. That's going to be very, very risky. And also coming out of the final corner is that Ripson crossing the line. He's got what looks like a McLaren behind. That's Jan Failer. Jan Failer is going to be annoyed. He won't improve. Actually, Jan Failer did just improve on his lap. He's 15 thousandths of a second off pole, but he might have gotten blocked by his championship rival. We're not sure, but they were very close together as he crossed the line, so he might not be too happy about that. As we do get the checker flag for Leors, and I believe that is hitting, and they will not improve on their runs. We have Galaxy coming through the 3rd sector. He is not improving, so he will stay down where he's at. Donut Hole currently on a lap right now. Will he improve? He's all the way down in 16th position. What does a McLaren driver have? Can he help out his teammate? He's currently sitting P2 and on the front row, but not in pole. Donahoe goes up in the 9th. Not bad. Puts himself in the top 10, but not the best place you want to be. Now, F1 Racer is coming through the final corner now. He's improving. He's improving by over 2 tenths. Can F1 Racer take pole position? No! No, he cannot. He does the same exact time as Daniel Rocker, but because he set it second, he will be no higher up than 2nd position. Ripson comes out of the final corner. He invalidated his lap. Tudor spins out of the final corner, or out of the penultimate corner. He will not improve. Richie B goes up into 12th, displacing his teammate. And Seb, he will start outside the top 10. And that is about it for the final flying laps by the looks of it, folks. Daniel Rocker on pole position because he set the lap time first is your pole sitter for the race. F1 Racer in P2. Jan Failer, 15 thousandths of a second off in 3rd. Patrick did get 4th position, so strong drive by the Polish driver. And Sauerbraten rounding out the top 5, 59 thousandths of a second split apart. What a qualifying section, folks. What a qualifying session. Absolutely amazing stuff here. Like I said before, Spielberg does not disappoint, and it certainly is not right now. As the drivers return to the garage, Daniel Rocker on pole position. F1 Racer alongside him. He's on slightly more worn softs, but we do know there's rain coming in, so everyone in the top 10 will be on the softs. They're committed to it. Everyone outside of it will probably go mediums and try to hold on to the rain. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race today because of the rain at the end of the race. But there you have it. Daniel Rocker on pole position. The German driver is our pole sitter, so anyone who voted other, which is 23% of you, you got it right. But F1 Racer, who actually had no votes, alongside him, almost got him, so would have been good there. Jan Fehler in P3, Patrick P4, Sauerbrot in P5, Galaxy in P6. There's a big gap between him and Sauerbrot, and Ripson, who really struggled in qualifying, down in 7th, Hittinen in 8th, Donut Hole in 9th, and Juka rounding out our top 10 today. Armate down in 11th, Richie B 12th, Seb 13th, Tudor 14th, Darn in 15th, Kev Gen X 16th, Leors in 17th, and Rivershan rounding out our grid today in 18th position. I must say, I had a feeling we'd get lower qualifying times, but I think because of the rain factor down the race, some of our drivers like Jan Fehler and some of the guys who would normally be like miles ahead, I think they didn't push as hard because they didn't know whether to go mediums or soft. And once they realized, oh, we got to go onto the softs, otherwise we're going to be outside the top 10, I think it was a little too late. So unfortunate to see, but very fortunate here now. We're loading into the lobby now. Hopefully, no issues, knock on wood, as the driver's loading in. We are waiting for players and loading right now. Waiting for players. You can see now as we're waiting for the lobby to get started. We're going to go ahead and just double check while we're waiting. Just going to go ahead and make sure they're getting no issues. Everything's looking good. It looks like it right now. Hopefully there's nothing wrong. We have our grid. It is all set. Looking good to go. And it's going to be a good one here, folks. It's going to be a very good one, but a very German-dominated qualifying session, that's for sure. 5 of the top 6 with the Polish driver, Patrick, splitting them up. So we're going to have a good one here, folks. So strap on, stay tuned, stay ready to go, and it will be looking okay. Just going to see make sure I can confirm some backup invites. There we go. Drivers have readied up. We're not seeing their names, but hopefully that's just, the stuff being, whack. But that's okay. We are on the grid. Drivers are getting ready to go. And the race is going to be a good one here, folks. Strap in. Spielberg always provides action. We got clear skies to start the race, but like we said in qualifying, there is rain coming at the end. So it's daunting as ever. I do expect everyone outside the top 10 to be on mediums because the hard tires, the mediums last a long time around here. So I would not be surprised. So you can see the drivers are on the grid. There we have it. We're going to go ahead and look at what tires everyone is on. There you have it. Top 10 on softs, as they're supposed to be. Everyone outside of it on mediums. So very predictable strategy here today, with Daniel Rocker leading the way, the reserve driver getting pole position. First driver not named Jan Fehler on pole position. So it only took 6 races, but here we have it in the Austrian Grand Prix. Now the drivers currently do their formation lap. Thank you to Elgato, SIMSOK, and Driver 61 for sponsoring Apex Online Racing. And we hope you guys are enjoying the content here watching. Go ahead and check out all of our sponsors whenever you can. They all offer great services and products. Now, I'm going to predict who's going to have a good race. I think everyone outside the top 10, barring a safety car, because, the safety car is going to throw everything into the mix. Everyone outside the top 10 on the mediums, if they can, just stay in touch with the top 10, I think they'll be golden, because if there's rain late in the race, then the mediums, you're just gonna stretch them, and everyone on the soft's gonna have to pit, be ready to go, and catch back up and have to overtake it. And these medium runners, especially like Armate, Richie B, and Seb, they're the first 3 of them. If they can keep in DRS range, which is huge. DRS is huge around here. It's gonna get you a lot of time. They can keep in DRS with like Juka, Donut Hole, any of the soft runners. I mean, even if it's not with the leading pair, as long as they just don't drop off too far, they'll have about a 20-second. There's about a 20-second pit window here. So these guys on the mediums, all they have to do is just have good pace, and they should, in theory, just be able to hang on till the rain. Now, if the rain comes early, then, of course, guys on the softs might be able to stretch it out and make it work. Rain comes very late. Like, you know, lap 30, those mediums might actually start puncturing, and it's going to be unfortunate. But I do expect to see all the medium runners to hang on until the rain. We are all on the grid now, all 18 cars there. We got a beautiful shot going to turn 1 as the lights are getting ready to go on and the green flags are waving. Here we have it, folks. The lights are on. Daniel Rocker on the front row. 5 lights out. And they are out, and away we go. It's a good start by Rocker. Jan Fehler actually looking to overtake F1 Racer into turn number 1. He's going to go around the outside. Racer's going to have to yield a little bit, and Rocker's gone. He's absolutely gone at the start. What a start by him. But Jan Fehler and F1 Racer side by side. Sauerbraten can't find a way through right now into turn 2, and now turn 3. They're going to go double file in the background. Jan Fehler trying to go around the outside of F1 Racer. This is going to free up Rocker, and Fehler up into second place. He will have the position over Racer. He's going to try to fight back. Sauerbraten behind him. He's got to be careful. Juka dropping down a couple positions. They're battling a lot farther down the order. As we can see, there's Seb's POV. We're going to ride on board with him. You can see he's keeping up with the likes of Richie B and Donahoe. Richie B with a great start up into 9th already. Juka is dropping down the order like crazy, really struggling on the softs. Not what you want to see from our now full-time driver in the Aston Martin. But leading away is still Rocker up at the front. Yeah, he wasn't able to break the toe lap 1. Fehler able to close up a little bit. He's got F1 Racer and everyone else in tow. This is a fantastic start to the race, guys. As we're going to look at who's the biggest movers on lap number 1. Richie B up 3 positions. Great start by the Dutch driver. As we got a little bit of battling going on in the background. Donahoe trying to make back up a position on Richie B. He's got the soft rubber, but they're going to go 3 wide. Seb trying to go up the inside. This is the battle for P9 right now. And Richie B trying to go around the outside. He's got to be careful, though, because he's got 2 cars on his inside. And it looks like Seb's going to back out of it. Donahoe, a little bit of banging wheels there. And Donahoe is through and up, back up into 9th position. But Richie leading the way out of the medium runners. Juka back up into 14th, able to overtake Darna and Kev Genetics. But everyone's still holding in DRS range, led by Rocker. So we have to keep an eye on all this battling. There's Seb. Seb's in a hot sandwich. Tudor trying to go up the inside of his former championship rival in F2. They're going to go side by side through turns 7 and 8. Who's going to come out on top? They're leaving each other plenty of space. Oh, we got a Red Bull spinning, but he saves it. What a beautiful save by Armate. He's going to drop down into 18th. Saves it nice and beautifully. Keeps it going in a straight line. I surely thought he was into the wall there. So he's going to lose a lot of time, but he keeps it on track now, going up towards the front. Seb did get passed by Tudor, so the Haas duo leading the medium runners right now. Everyone within DRS range of each other, so the DRS train has begun. But up at the front, Jan Fehler looking to make a move around the outside. Daniel Rocker into turn number 3. He's going to stick it around the outside. Maybe he has DRS. Not sure if he was heading the braking zone. He was not. Rocker's got a chance to fight back into turn number 4, the Mercedes driver. He's going to try to go around the outside. Fehler covers the inside. Who's going to brake later? It's Fehler. Rocker goes for a switchback, though, but he doesn't get the exit speed, and it looks like Fehler is going to hang on to the position. As in the background, Juka is battling Seb. Juka getting all sorts of loose coming out at turn number 4 and out of 5. And now he's going to yield a little bit. He's ghosted in between Barn. Or no, that's Kev Genetics. So he's going to lose out a position there as he picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. Really struggling to clear these medium runners in the background. But Fehler, new race leader at the end of lap 3. But does Daniel Rocker have an answer to the pass by Fehler? Fehler does 106.1. Fastest lap. Not surprising there, considering, but Rocker only 0.2 back. Let's see, what does the Mercedes driver have in store? The German driver looking to fly. Oh, we have a spinner off that's hitting in. He's off in turn number 1. Does he have damage? He does not have visible damage, but Rocker's going to go up the inside of the hairpin. He will have DRS. He was behind Fehler going into the detection point, which is right in the braking zone. So it's very, very interesting and very tricky to get it right. But Rocker has the race lead once again. But there is now a gap between Galaxy and Ripson. Galaxy does not have DRS on the top 6. Also, Tudor and Richie B. Richie B has gotten passed by his teammate and is actually losing DRS to his teammate as he's falling under pressure from Seb. So the driver's starting to break off. Tudor sitting in the best position right now on the mediums as he's working his way up the field and looking very, very competitive here today. But can Richie B get back in the DRS range? He's right on the bubble. He might be asking his teammate, hey, I need you to slow up just a tenth or so I can get it. But it's looking like he's going to not have it down the front straight, and that will be crucial to his race. He needs to get it back. Now, back up towards the front. Can Jan Fehler go for a move again? These guys battling out each and every lap for the lead. F1 Racer just watching and observing the fireworks for this battling Fehler. He's going to try to go up the inside. No, he throws a dummy in the background. The donut hole is through. He's going to cover the inside on Tudor and Galaxy. Tudor going up the inside of Galaxy. Donut hole barely keeping traction. This is a big battle here for P7. Donut hole does not have DRS. It looks like in the background, Galaxy Tudor, they're gonna bump wheels. Tudor can't find a way through. Galaxy going around the outside of the McLaren driver, and he's gonna take the position back off the McLaren driver, who's now has the inside for 5, but it's gonna be the outside for turn number 6. McLaren driver swoops around the outside, and he has P7 done and dusted, but he's also out of battery, and he's 3 seconds behind Ripson, so he's not gonna get the DRS to help him out. But this battling has allowed Richie B to get back into DRS range of his teammate. He's going to try to go up the inside of Galaxy into turn 9. It's a very brave move. They have just enough space for each other. Tudor has the inside line, kind of forces Galaxy off there, and Tudor up into 8th position. Galaxy down into 9th. Now back up at the front. Fehler, once again, he's under 3/10 behind Rocker. He's got the DRS down the back straight. Lap 6 out of 36. Richie B also getting around Galaxy. Galaxy's retired. Oh, and so is Seb. What has happened? Virtual safety car. What has happened out of turn number 1? It looks like Galaxy, you can see him in the wall. We got a full-blown safety car. Galaxy lost the rear end, and Seb completely crashed out as well. This has put the race up on its head. Everyone soft certainly will probably use this as a free pit stop. But Seb and Galaxy both out of the race. That is heartbreaking. Galaxy was battling for a top 10 position. We're not sure what happened. We didn't catch it in the background. But both drivers DNFing here on lap 6 out of turn 1. Very, very unfortunate to see. Not sure what happened. We know Galaxy was running up right behind Tudor. He just got passed by Tudor, so he was battling Richie B. So we know he was doing that. And then Seb was by like Darn and Kev. So I think Seb might have gotten caught up with Galaxy. Spinning might have accidentally hit him when trying to avoid the spinner. But either way, who's going to the pit? The soft runners are pitting. Sauerbraten stays out, though. Sauerbraten staying out on the softs. Almost everyone else pitting off of him. Very interesting move. Sauerbraten and Ripson both staying out on the soft rubber. They will take the safety car and have the lead. That's an interesting and bold move. Juka staying out as well. So these guys pitting for free pit stops. But look at this. Daniel Rocker on hards. He's actually going to get held in the pits, and Fehler is going to come out ahead of him on the mediums. So I'm not sure if the hards are on the move, considering we know there's late rain. Both Rocker and F1 Racer are electing for the hards. They know they can get to the end of the race, barring no rain. For sure, you can definitely get to the end on the hards, but you won't have the pace advantage of the mediums. And with the safety car, probably going to be out to lap 9. I don't know. But interesting move by Donahole, Ripson, and Sauerbraten staying out on a set of softs. This also brings Hittinen back into the fold to get a fresh set of mediums. He was off the pack after spinning out of turn 1, so he can repair his car however he liked now. These 3 drivers up front on the softs, but this does help everyone who just pitted. They can go to the rain or to the end for the most part. We assume the mediums can, but this greatly hurts everyone who started on the alternate strategy, because this, Rocker got a collision penalty with Jan Fehler. Both of them did. Both of them got 5-second time penalties. Not sure if there's desync or whatnot, but Rocker has wing damage. So Rocker's probably going to have to pit off of, the hards, put on a fresh set of tires. He's going to have to repair that damage. Yeah, he's going to dive into the pits. You do not want to have that wing end plate missing. As he goes into the pits, he's going to have to switch off. That's heartbreak for the reserve driver. He will be able to serve this penalty in the pits, I believe. So he'll get that erased. It'll be a free change. Yep, it's a free penalty serve. But he's going to drop to the back of the grid. That's heartbreak for him, but he gets a chance. He's probably going to go on to mediums. Doesn't have another set of hards. You have to switch tires. He actually go to softs. Huh. Interesting move. He's going to go on a set of soft tires. Doesn't go for the mediums. So he'll be very quick at the back. Now, the safety car comes in this lap. He's stuck. But if he goes to softs, pits again onto hards, he could make it, or he goes for a set of mediums. We'll have to see what he's doing, but a set of softs. And it's ballsy. He's getting told 10 to 15 minutes to the rain. Because if Jeff came on the radio, said it's that long, the softs, might as well just go for it. They'll last. So interesting move by the Mercedes driver. But Jan Fehler now carrying a time penalty, which when the rain does come, he's going to have to serve that when he pits. And that's going to be crucial because that's going to cost him a few seconds here. And I'm sure he's going to want that one back now. I'm not sure if he slowed up and Rocker hit him or if Rocker just ran into him. Not sure who's at fault, but they both got penalties and they both are getting served. So that is unfortunate for them. But that puts F1 Racer in a good position, as he does not have a penalty to serve, and he's the lead car without a penalty, of course, who just pitted off the softs. But he's on hards, though, so safety car is in this lap, so Rocker's going to have to deal with the softs as best he can. Sauerbraten leading the way. He's on an old set of softs, so is Ripson and Donut Hole. Behind him are 4 medium runners who started on the mediums. When does Sauerbraten go? When you go for the Aston Martin driver, it's flat out once you get to 10 and out of 10. So does he go before? Does he go after? He goes during turn 10. It's flat out, and here we go. We're green flag racing. Once again, you can overtake once you cross the start-finish line, as Ripson kind of gets not really caught napping, but Sauerbraten's got a half second to him. That's going to put Ripson under pressure from Donut Hole, who loses the rear end at turn 1. That's going to put him under threat from Tudor around the outside. Tudor trying to go around the outside into turn 2, and now turn 3. Donut Hole braking very late. They're going side by side. This is for 3rd place. Donut Hole giving Tudor a little bit of a squeeze onto the curb. That's not too nice. Richie B losing the rear end a little bit out of the hairpin. He's going to drop a few positions. That's not what you want to have happen if you're the Haas team, as he drops behind Kev and Darn as Donut Hole hangs onto the position. But Richie B's going to fight back up the inside of Kev Genetics and takes back 6th place. So he's able to gain 1 position after losing the rear end. But up at front, it's still Sauerbraten, Ripson, and Donut Hole still in DRS range of the airborne driver up ahead. Meanwhile, Armate does get overtaken by Jan Fehler. So Armate really struggling on the medium tire, as Fehler on fresher mediums gets through in the middle sector of the lap. But he's going to try to fight back on the championship leader, who's trying to gap the other guys who are on the reverse strategy as much as possible. Armate, though, losing a position again to Patrick as well. Daniel Rocker looking really quick on the softs in the background, so he's going to be one to watch out for with the rain coming at the end of the race. Up at the front, though, Ripson looking to try to overtake the Aston Martin driver without DRS. He's got a very good toe. He's coming up to the inside as Hittinen has spun once again in turn 1. Not sure if there was contact or not, but the Finnish driver spun again. Up towards the road, though, Rivershan and Jan Fehler going side by side. Fehler is clear. Once again, he's picked off 2 drivers now, and he's moved up into 10th, as Rivershan losing a position, trying to fight back a little bit, but he's going to have to go defensive from Patrick, who's going to try to go for a switchback move into turn 5. He's got the better drive in the Williams. Patrick trying to go around the outside for 6. It's going to be very tricky. Is he able to keep the power down? They're still side by side, going to 7 and 8, and Patrick swoops around the outside. The Polish driver has the position over Rivershan. Now, DRS will be enabled once they cross the line, as Liors clears Juka, who's just struggling on the soft tire. As you can see, they're actually going side by side. Juka actually coming back at Liors, pushing Liors a little bit off track. That's going to open the door for Jan Fehler. And Jan Fehler is going to get not 1, but 2 positions going to turn 1 up the inside of Juka, as Galaxy has left the session. That is, not his best day. Patrick, though, is going to get Liors as well and try to also get Juka by the looks of it. Up at the front, though, Sauerbraten's been overtaken by Ripson, who is our new race leader. Tudor, though, does get Donut Hole up into turn 3, and he's got DRS to help him now. Donut Hole trying to fight back on the Romanian driver, but he does not get the run into turn number 4 that he wants. And Tudor up into the podium positions on the medium tire. He's the lead guy who looks like he's guaranteed to make it to the rain. But we'll have to wait and see. We do not want a tire to fall off like Kimi's tire does. But there's also DRS has been lost to Fehler and Kev Genetics. So Fehler, that's crucial. He needs to get DRS back if he wants to catch up to these guys on the reverse strategy. Meanwhile, Lior is one of those guys on the reverse strategy. He's being gobbled up by everyone who pitted recently. And Daniel Rocker is up into 12th. Rocker on the move on those fresh softs, which is very good. Racer, though, down into 14th. The hards not looking like the tire of choice now. Sure, Rocker's happy. He's off the hards. F1 Racer, not so much at this time. But up at the front, Ripson, he's only got 3/10 to Sauerbraten, pulling away a little bit down into turn 2 and 3. But Sauerbraten's coming down the back straight. Sauerbraten going up the inside of turn number 3. And Sauerbraten, he won't have DRS down the straight to defend. He goes a little deep, but he has the position done and dusted. But can Ripson fight back? Can Ripson retake the lead here going into turn number 4? Yeah, he's going to go for the inside into 4. He's got the DRS over speed. He's going to brake very late. He's going to be ahead into the braking zone, and Ripson retakes the lead
from the Aston Martin driver. Tudor, though, does not have DRS on Sauerbrot, and that is going to be crucial. The Romanian needs to get 2/10 through the middle portion of this lap. He needs the DRS to help pull himself into this battle for the race lead, because Jan Fehler has closed in on Kevin X, so that gap has been eliminated. So, but behind him, Rocker trying to get DRS on Patrick. So, and there you see Tudor does have DRS by the looks of it coming onto the main straight. So that is crucial for the Haas driver. He's pushing to get it. But behind him, Darn looking to pressure Donohole into turn number 1 for 4th position or into turn 3. But Donohole out of battery once again. Daniel Rocker goes fast as 105.6 on softs. But he is not in DRS range of Patrick. Fehler, though, battling Kev Genetics. Fehler picking off another driver off of the restart. He's going to get Kev Genetics. Patrick also looking to go around the outside of the Alpine driver. He's going to be Fehler's biggest threat at this stage on the guys on the reverse strategy. You can see Patrick not able to make the move on Kev. Leo Zajuka still going at it in the background. You can see Donohole is under pressure from Darn. Darn trying to go around the outside to turn 4. Donohole giving him a little bit of squeeze on exit. Donohole has the inside for 5, but through 6, it's going to be all Darn. And Darn trying to hold the inside line, trying to hope that Donohole does not have the drive. And he does not. Darn up into 4th, but he's lost DRS to Tudor, though, crucially. This is huge. Once again, losing DRS is huge around. He is not going to be able to use it to defend from Donohole, Richie B, and the hard-charging Fehler. Meanwhile, Ripson and Sauerbraten both diving into the pits off of their softs. Do they go for another set of softs with the rain coming soon? We're not sure, but Tudor takes the lead. He's got DRS down the front straight, and he's got it broken to Donohole, who just overtook Darn down the front straight. Darn's going to fight back, though, into turn number 2 and 3. He's got the inside line. Donohole does not have any battery to use. Richie B trying to make it 3 wide. Richie B going on the grass. Richie B going around the outside into turn number 3. He's trying to make a double overtake. Donohole has the drive, though, through 3. That's going to give... He's not going to have DRS, though. Fehler. Oh, he does have DRS. Richie B was ahead in the detection point. Donohole giving the toe to his teammate. And Fehler trying to go around the outside of Richie B. They're 3 wide in the background. That is Darn, Patricks, and Kev Genetics. Oh my gosh, it is fireworks, folks. Daniel Rocker's into this fight as well. Look at this, they're going double file through the middle sector. At the lead right now is Richie B. He's able to clear Donohole somehow. We missed that. But this is enormous fireworks battling for net 7th position. You see Donohole under pressure from his teammate. Donut's going to want to pit off the softs soon. Not sure how much longer they're going to last, but he's got DRS to at least pull him along. As you can see where, excuse me, Ripson Sauerbraten came out, but there's Donohole. He's going to lose a position to his teammate, who's up in the 3rd. Patrick, making a little bit of contact with the McLaren driver. A little naughty there by the Polish driver, but he's going to have 4th position. That's going to open up the door for Darn, who's trying to find a way around Donohole, who's trying to go up the inside of Patrick into the hairpin. A little bit of contact on the apex. That's really gonna compromise Donohole's exit. He's gonna drop all the way down to 8th, get overtaken by a few guys. Daniel Rocker, meanwhile, pressuring Darn, I believe. Yes, pressuring Darn, trying to go around the outside. Fehler going around the outside of Richie B. That's for 2nd position, and Fehler on the move once again. Around the outside, he's up in the 2nd, clean as you'd like on the Haas driver. You can see the batch around Patrick trying to pressure Richie B now. These guys on the fresh mediums are just so much faster than the guys on the old ones. But right now, Patrick, you know, he's hoping that Richie B doesn't lose DRS, because he's going to need the DRS to keep with Jan Fehler, who's flying right now. But Daniel Rocker up into 5th. We do have a spin, though. It's at Rivershen in Sector 3. There's a yellow flag. Not sure what happened. Donohole's into the pits. Might have been contact. Oh, that's Tudor, our race leader. What happened to him? What happened to Tudor? He had a spin out of the final corner. We completely missed that. Oh, my word. The Romanian driver has choked it. He was leading the Grand Prix. I'm not sure what kind of damage he has, but he was clear by over 2 seconds. And he spun coming out of the final corner. Probably pushed it just a little bit too hard. And Tudor, who is looking on track to win this race, is down into 12th. He's going to need a safety car and some luck at this point, because now he's going to fall into the clutches of Ripson and Sauerbraten as well. Fehler is your new race leader. In the background, you see Richie B going side by side with Daniel Rocker, but Rocker on the fresh softs just that much faster than the Haas driver as he takes the podium position away. But now if you're Jan Fehler, you need to keep Patrick out of DRS because you have that time penalty. But right now, Patrick sitting in the best position possible. Tudor picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. F1 Racer, though, clearing The F1 Racer's kind of coming back a little bit in the hards. He's got DRS to Liors. He just cleared Rivershawn. Needs to get DRS on Kev Genetics, but it's going to be tricky because he needs to clear Liors and then close up a little bit. So it's a tall order there, but he's not doing too bad as Rivershawn picks up a time penalty. But back up, Patrick. Oh, you see Darn overtaking Richie B. Richie B probably using most of his battery. You can see both drivers, Darn and Richie B, very low on batteries. They've been using it to fight it all out. But Darn's going to go up into 4th position. Richie B down into 5th. As Tudor losing a position to Ripson. Tudor's struggling right now. Probably picked up a little bit of damage after the spin. F1 Racer going to make a move on Liors for 7th position into the braking zone of 4. And Sauerbraten also clearing Tudor as well. The Haas driver just falling down the order on those old mediums, which are surely shot right now after the spin. Heartbreaking stuff if you are the Romanian. His teammate not faring much better, though, as Darn's lost DRS to Rocker, and Richie B trying to hang in the DRS range of the Williams driver up ahead. Williams' team wasn't looking like, and you know, Patrick, you had him in the top 5, but Darn was outside of the top 10. And now they're running 2 and 4. It's looking really good for him with Jan Failure having that time penalty. They're in a good spot right now. Patrick not really, he doesn't have DRS on Failure, but he's not really that far back, so he's just got to keep with it and keep pushing. But Ripson, meanwhile, clearing Hittinen, who did have that spin. Hittinen and Tudor, it's not been their day. They're just really struggling. Richie B, though, battling Kev Genetics. Ooh, a little bit of desync there as the drivers were ghosted. Kev Genetics actually losing control of the car a little bit. Not sure what's happened there, but that's the game glitching I think that's been going on. So hopefully we don't see too many issues like that going forward. Still leading the way is Jan Failure. In tow, or not in tow, but 1.5, 1.6 behind is Patrick. Daniel Rocker in P3, a half second behind. Darn, 2 seconds behind him in 4th. So lots of stuff going on here. Checking my phone real fast for a notification. How does Jan Failure go for a spin? Jan Failure did not spin. He never actually did have a spin, so Tudor had the spin. So Failure is sitting in prime position right now. Up ahead, the drivers who've spun have mainly just been Hittinen and Tudor. The highest driver to have spun, Arme had a half spin. But Rocker right now did take the damage on his safety car. He did serve it, and now he's up into 3rd on the sauce. But they're going to start to drop off a little bit. They won't be as fast as these mediums at this stage of the race. So he just needs to stay in DRS range. Ripson, meanwhile, clearing R8 for 10th position. He's back into the points, but his championship rival is leading the way. This is going to help Jan Failure gap his fellow countrymen even more. It was already a 14-point gap. It's going to grow even more after this race. But Patrick, you know, Failure does have that 5-second time penalty, so we don't know. But the skies are clear. But one thing I know from experience, as soon as Jeff says rain is coming in the next couple of minutes, as soon as the clouds go dark, it's going to rain the next lap. So keep an eye on the clouds. How long did these guys who started on mediums go? We got the likes of Darn, who's lost DRS to Rocker and Richie, and the top 3. Darn, Richie B, Kev Genetics, all on those medium tires from the start. F1 Racer on fresh hards, but doesn't really have the pace advantage over the medium runners. Liors and Rivershawn also on the older mediums. Liors having a good race, down in 8th position, but does have a time penalty to their name. Field spread out a little bit after we had that safety car early on for the DNF by Galaxy, and then shortly after Seb as well. Sauerbraten, though, making a move on Ripson. Oh, here comes the clouds, folks. Like I said, as soon as the clouds come over, expect the rain to follow very, very soon. The clouds are here. The rain may be inbound, so the likes of Rocker may have just pulled a master stroke by going on to softs. Well, the likes of F1 Racer pitting for hards, not the best move at this stage of the race. Now, how long until the rain? I'm thinking it's going to be about a half lap to a lap. Because it's coming. Coming very, very quickly. As Failure leading the way now. We're going to keep an eye. Just going to ride on board. Ride on board with F1 Racer. Right behind Kev Genetics. Let's see if we can see some raindrops coming down here. Oh, man. Like I said before, the Austrian Grand Prix always brings fireworks, and it always destroys my voice. Well, it's doing that right now. As you can see, F1 Racer is in the 4th car in his DRS train, led by FVR Darn in the Williams. You can see Racer has a lot of battery still to play with. But he doesn't have the overspeed because Kev's got enough battery to help him here. And the DRS is just that powerful around here. Is Kev looking to make a move on Richie B? He's going to try to go up the inside. He will. Kev Jenks trying to go up the inside, but he's going to cut the corner a little bit. It's going to give him a time penalty. And that's going to give F1 Racer the overspeed he needs on the exit and gives the Ferrari driver P6 and drops Kev down to P7. Kev's actually going to have to defend from Lior's a little bit. Lior's trying to go around the outside and turn number 4, but he's not going to make it work, and he's going to stay in P8. Kev drops down to P7th. But on those 20-lap old mediums, they got to be crying. They're really hoping for rain this time around because everyone who started the mediums, I mean, if it wasn't for the safety car, they would be sitting in the best position right now. But Kev goes off a little bit. He makes a mistake, and he's going to rejoin safely, thankfully. But Kev making a big mistake there in Sector 3. Drops down into P11. But now going back up. Patrick's only lost a couple tenths to Failer up at the front. Richie Bean, meanwhile, is going to have to battle F1 Racer, but on those 21-lap old mediums, they are shot compared to the hards at this point. F1 Racer going to try to get the overspeed into turn number 3. Going to go up the inside. No, Richie's going to brake later. F1 Racer picking and choosing his battles very, very nicely right now. But he's not really close enough to get Richie into turn number 4, so he's going to have to wait another time around as there's really nowhere to overtake in the middle of this lap. So unfortunate for him. We're not seeing any rain, though. The clouds came in, but the rain didn't come in as quickly as I thought it would. So it's going to hurt the medium tire runners. You see Ripson gets through on Rivershot. Sauerbraten and Ripson, who pitted off of the softs onto the mediums, up into 8th and 9th. So they're lapping pretty quickly, but they're still pretty far. I mean, they're not even close to the top 3. And they're not going to benefit. As F1 Racer going to make the move on Richie B into turn 9. Did not see that one coming. Richie B might have made a mistake coming out of 8, which might have opened the door. So apologies to doubting F1 Racer's ability there. But he's up into 5th now. The Ferrari driver, keep an eye on him. But here's what's developed. Darn is 5.6 behind Rocker. Failer has a 5-second time penalty. So Failer will come out no farther back than P3 after starting a penalty. So that is very interesting stuff. But Patrick, though, he's under threat from Rocker. This is the battle for P2 and the net race lead off of penalties as Patrick and Rocker are going to battle it out. But Patrick's on a little bit better tires right now. He's going to hang on to the lead. Darn, meanwhile, having to defend from F1 Racer on the hards. Racer up the inside into 4. He's got the position as easy as you can like. You know, he's loving life right now. He's got the better tire than the medium runners who start on. He's not as fast as the likes of Rocker, Patrick, and Failer because he has the tire disadvantage still, but he's up into P4. He can't be too mad, but now he needs to close the gap on Rocker and Patrick up ahead. Richie B picking up a time penalty. That is crucial to his races. Now Sauerbraten has caught up to Lior's and this train, so the guys who started on softs did not pit under the safety car and are on track right now looking to pressure these guys who've been out for a while on these older tires. Sauerbraten going up the inside in turn 1. He has the position before turn 1. Sauerbraten up into 6. You see how much Richie struggles through turn 1. Those old mediums are shot right now as Sauerbraten and Ripson, both drivers, looking to make moves through turn 2 and into turn 3. Up the inside Sauerbraten goes, and Richie's going to give him just enough space on the apex. They're going to bang wheels a little bit, but Sauerbraten's going to get the power down much quicker. And that should be P6 for the Aston Martin driver. Yes, it is. P6 for Sauerbraten. Down to P7 goes Richie B on those old mediums. These guys just hanging on for dear life. It's pretty crazy. Yes, I got confirmed that Benny was not able to make it today. That's unfortunate, of course. But we'll have to. It's okay here, Benny, because I have it all under control. We haven't actually had really any desync problems that I know of. Now, of course, drivers might be getting something a little different in person, but from my POV right now, we have not really seen any issues. We saw one little desync issue with Richie B and Kev, but not 100% if that was, like, what that was exactly. But it resolved itself just fine. Everything is working out at the moment, and Failer still leading the way over Rocker. Ripson was going to clear. Darn, now these guys, like Rocker's going to be struggling a lot now. He's on old softs, and with the rain still not here yet, these guys on the old mediums, we see him struggle a lot. His Tudor is retired. Coming out of turn 1, he's hit the wall, lost the rear end. That's a full-on safety car, folks. So Tudor's DNF. Not sure what happened there, but the rain, I think, just started to come down. So the question is, who's going to pull the trigger onto inners? Who's going to stay out? Lap 25, we have a second safety car of the day. Tudor is retired from the race. He was looking very good, but he probably just lost it. Well, I don't know. He's a little farther down the straight to have just lost it, but that is crucial. That's going to bring some of these guys back into play. Now, who pits from the race lead? Do you go for the gamble? Do you go for intermediates now before? Rocker's going to go for it. He's going to go for the intermediates. It's a soft shot. He's going to pit on to intermediates. Hope the rain comes down heavier. I hope he can get some free positions here. Who else is into the pits? F1 Racer stays out. Sauerbraten stays out. Ripson's into the pits. Is Richie B into the pits? Richie's into the pits. So these guys who started on the mediums probably going to pit. You got to pit for inners, I think, here. I mean, you could pit for softs, but I don't think it's worth pitting for for softs at this point, because you got to gamble that it's going to get wetter at this point. As we're going to look at it, yes, inners going on. You have a couple safety car laps to let it get heavier and the rain to come down more. But the guys on top, actually, Rocker went on to softs. Interesting. So he's banking on it not getting heavy enough for the inners. We'll see if this pays off for him, because if it does not, he's going to be behind the top 6. Leor's also on softs. Everyone else on inners. So right now, darn, if it gets heavy enough for full-blown intermediate tires, darn, no penalties leading the way. Richie B in net P2. Now, of course, the track is still dry, so these tires are going to get a little bit more wear. But the question is now, is it going to get wet enough for the inners? Did these guys gamble? Is it going to pull off correctly? The other guy who stayed out, did they gamble correctly by staying out longer? We'll have to wait and see. We're actually going to take a look at Failer up ahead. Let's go see if any of these guys pit. All right. The safety car coming around now. They're going to come out behind, no matter what now. They're going to come out behind these guys on the inners because the safety car is going slow enough. No one's going to bite. No one's biting here. Rocker thinks, okay, it's not going to get wet enough. He's going to stay on a set of softs. But Dana Rocker did have the hards on for a lap, so he's basically been on softs the whole race. But because he had hards on for the lap, he fulfilled the tire change requirement. But now Richie B, he's in, he's caught up to the pack. I mean, he's struggling a little bit. Leor's, though, a little bit too much overspeed there as they catch up to the pack. But now the question is, how wet does it get? Now I'm going to grab some water real fast. My voice is hurting a little bit. But we're going to keep an eye on the front runners right now. But if it does rain the hardest, the biggest loser here is got to be Jan Failer because of his time penalty. Because everyone on dries is going to have to pit. So as Juka comes to the pits, probably going for a set of dries. But I'll be right back. Let me grab some water, and we'll see what happens. This is interesting. The safety car stays out. Our race leader is still out on track. The track is not wet enough for the intermediate tires, it looks like. So these guys who put on the inners, they just got to be praying that one more lap. The safety car will be in next lap, 100%, because Duke is catching up to the field right now. These guys on the inners just got to hope the rain comes down more, because otherwise they are all toast. Because at this rate, if it does not get wet enough for the inners, top 7 is a guaranteed failure. Patrick, F1 Racer, Sauerbraten, Ripson, Rocker, and Leor's, barring any spins. But the fastest out of them all is going to be Rocker, who's on fresh softs. Everyone else, I mean, Sauerbraten and Ripson, they're in a good spot. They're on fresher tires in the front 3, but is it good? Yes, Seb crashed out. So Galaxy on lap 6 spun after turn 1, and I believe while spinning, he collected Seb. So Seb, unfortunately, DNF'd today. He was having a good race. Both drivers were having good races. Galaxy was having a battle a lot, though, with the guys on mediums. Seb, one of them. And unfortunately, they caught it off worse. I'm going to go grab my coffee as I finish brewing because I need to soothe my voice for a sec. But keep an eye on the rain, folks. Alrighty. looks like the safety car's in this lap, folks. That's what it's looking like. It doesn't look like it's dry enough or wet enough, though, for the intermediate. So the gamble that these front runners might have just paid off. You know, we're going to have 8 laps to go. So when does Failer pull the trigger? Got to be careful on throttle. The track is damp. And at least it's a little greasy. But here we go. We're going to see the kind of pace that these guys on the intermediates have. So what can Darn do compared to the softs up ahead? Rocker is going to pressure, or he's going to fall. He's fallen off. He's got caught napping at the start. These guys in the inners aren't exactly slow at the moment. They're not too far off pace, but Leor's looking to make a move on to Richie B, going to turns 2 and 3. Yeah, the inners aren't. I don't know what kind of weather we got here. F1 Racers getting pressured by Sauerbraten here. It seems like both tires are working okay. Jan Failer is gone at the front. But now, Patrick, we have a spin. Rivershawn has spun in the hairpins. The inner's maybe not the best tire right now, but F1 Racer trying to hang on to 3rd position, but Sauerbraten up the inside on the fresher mediums. He's going to make it work. He's going to make it work. It does look like it's not wet enough for the inners. As there goes Daniel Rocker. He's sitting in prime position. He's on fresh softs, going around the outside of F1 Racer. The F1 Racer on the old hards is definitely in the worst position out of everyone up at the front. Leor's looking mighty quick at the moment as well. It's just not wet enough. As you can see here, Leor's going to go around the outside of Darn, who's just hoping for it to go more wet, but it looks like we're getting a little bit more rain. So the question is, how will the likes of Failer and Patrick Sauerbraten Ripson hold out, and F1 Racer hold out with their older mediums? These guys on the fresh softs will be okay for the time being. But if you're on the older mediums, what happens? Because it's not wet enough for the inners, it looks like. It just, I don't know. They're not losing too much time, but Jan Failer at the front is gone. He's got his rain light on, interestingly enough. But he's cleared 2 seconds on Patrick, who locks up the inside a little bit. Rocker trying to go around the outside of Ripson in turn number 3. He's going to have that easy as you'd like. He has such a mega tire advantage over these guys, because not only is it wet, where the softs are better anyways, he's on softs versus fresh mediums, or old mediums, while Sauerbraten tries to go around the outside of Patrick. Patrick's going to shut the door on the apex. That's going to open up there. Oh, Sauerbraten's into the wall! Sauerbraten's into the wall. He's out of this race. Oh, he loses the rear end, going through 5, and that's a full-blown safety car. Wow. Sauerbraten lost it under traction. He was trying to make the move on Patrick, and he did not make it work. Patrick, meanwhile, is off. Patrick spun off through turn 7. It's heartbreak for the Williams driver. He's all the way down into 10th position, possibly 11th, as he's rejoined the track. So it is wet enough for inners. Question is, if you're Jan Failer, if you're Daniel Rocker, do you stay out? F1 Racer into the pits for the inners. He knows the hards won't make it. He's going to get the fresh tires and hopefully not get gobbled up. We're going to have a couple laps under the safety car, but we're going to get like 3 laps of dry running. So Failer with a 5-second time penalty up at the front, with the track becoming into more of an intermediate tire standpoint, is kind of toast here. But what this does do is this puts Daniel Rocker in the position to win this race. This puts Ripson in a decent spot to possibly win the race. Ooh, is one of the meter boards been taken out, but it looks like Leor's. That's not too nice of Leor's. Leor's does have a time penalty. Let's look at the time penalties, all right? Leor's, because of his 3-second time penalty, can't win the race, but he's in a good spot. But then Darn is the leader of the intermediate tires. Right now he's sitting in a guaranteed podium, and at the track getting wetter, he should be able to make the moves on the guys up ahead. Even the guys on the softs, it doesn't look like they'll be faster, as Hittinen picks up a 5-second time penalty. So if the inners are faster, this puts Darn in a great position. Richie B has a time penalty, but Army down in 10th position could technically still podium because he doesn't have a time penalty. Juka's got 12 seconds. Hittinen gets another time penalty. What is going on here? Looks like Juka's kind of just pushing Hittinen. It might be a little bit of desync here. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Hittinen, oh, they don't see each other. I think we got some desync here. So there's the desync that we were talking about, because it looks like Juka and Hittinen kept hitting each other. And now Hittenen's got 20 seconds of time penalties. As he gets, ooh, has he just straight up disconnected? I don't know what's happened there, folks. That maybe, I'm not sure what just happened to the Finnish driver. It looks like he kind of just got ruined by desync or something. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but he just picked up a ton of time penalties just because it looked like him and Juka were not, they're not synced up, so I feel so bad for Hittinen there. You can see Failer has pitted off of his dry tires. He's to be down in 13th position. Ripson also into the pits onto the inners. Kevchin went for a set of softs. I don't think that was the move. I think there's too much spray. You got to go on inners. So Rocker and Leors up at the front on fresh softs. They're hoping that it's not wet enough for those inners. But darn, looking to get a race victory. Patrick down in 5th on mediums. Not sure what happened, though, with hitting in there. It looked like he kind of just desynced. But he's got 25 seconds time penalties. His race has basically been ruined due to whatever desync's going on, unfortunately, in the lobby. So it does look wetter now. I'm not sure if the stream's showing it properly. But, yeah, from this angle here, it looks like the stream is showing just how wet the track is. It's not, like, heavy wet, but it's wetter than it was previously. So safety car should be in this lap. Can Rocker and Leors hang on? Mainly Rocker. Leors has the time penalty, but can Daniel Rocker hold on? And is it going to be dry enough for the softs? I don't know. I mean, 5-lap-old softs, they should be okay. Both all that spray we're seeing kicked up, this should go to darn. And Richie being armade up into 7th. No time penalties. Keeping on the guys with no time penalties. Patrick's on old mediums. He's probably a sitting duck there. But Daniel Rocker looking to go. Daniel Rocker's going to go early. He's going to going into 9. Now out of 10. Ooh, Leors is completely off the track. So he's going to get overtaken because he was off the track and just did not have the grip there. That puts up Darn and Richie B into the top 3. Yeah, I don't think the softs are the move here. Intermediate tires are faster. You can see there goes Darn. Darn up the inside. He's got Richie B right behind him, though. Richie B trying to take the race lead. Darn has the race lead. He's your new race leader. 4 laps to go. We got a yellow flag. That's hitting it off the track at turn 1 again. And Darn currently leading the way. Does not have a time penalty. Richie B does. He's a little safe here. Juka, meanwhile, up into 4th. He does have a decent amount of time penalties, though. He will lose it, but the softs are dead. Look what happened. Patrick's all the way down into 12th. The dry tires are just not working out. So while one Williams driver is profiting, the other one is having a heartbreak. But our championship contenders, and Ripson and Jan Fehler, 9th and 10th, way out of the position for top points. F1 Racer, though, is up into 6th on fresh, now in the 5th. He's going to overtake Donut Hole, and he's going to probably get 4th off of Daniel Rocker here as well. He's possibly going to get a P2, so he's going to get brought back into the championship mix as well. But Darn currently leading the way with 3 to go. It's his race to lose, folks. FVR Darn doing phenomenal right now. Look at the gap. So Richie B sitting 3rd place right now, just barely. He's behind F1 Racer off after the 3-second time penalty. Meanwhile, Daniel Rocker losing positions hand over fist. Donut Hole goes very wide. He's struggling in the wet like crazy, as Rocker's not able to get any power down. This probably should have pitted off those tires, unfortunately. Him and Patrick both all the way at the back. Kevchin X also on fresh softs, actually getting megged right now. But yes, ooh, we have a spin. Armate, no! Armate's struggling. He's all the way down into 8th position. He must have had an issue. Hitten's retired in the pit lane. The finish driver, it was never his day. Rivershan going up the inside of Armate. This battle for 8th position on track. They're going to go side by side, and they're going to be a little equal. Armate losing the rear end a little bit, as we have Daniel Rocker off into the gravel in the background. But up at the front, Darn still leading the way. Juka, he's got too many time penalties. He's got 12 seconds of time penalties to hold on to that podium, unfortunately. But F1 Racer in P4 should get a podium here. Richie B looking to get his maiden podium here in Tier 1. Ripson up into P5 and Fehler into P6. So just like that, folks, they're back in a prime position. Ripson ahead of his championship rival for the time being. Donut Hole getting picked off by Rivershan coming out of the final corner. It's a 3-way battle here for 7th position. But back up at the front, we got 2 to go. Darn still leading the way. No DRS isn't enabled, so that's going to make it harder for Richie if he wants to have a chance to catch and clear Darn. But he does have the time penalty to his name, so if you're Darn, you got to be very, very happy right now. Leors has gotten around Patrick, who has not pitted off the mediums, which is he realizes that his race is over. In the background, though, Donal trying to give a little bit of a squeeze to Armate. They're both drivers really struggling in the wet. Leors picks up a time penalty on his fresh inners, but Donal going to have, it looks like P8 from Armate, and he's going to get some more points for the McLaren garage as he covers off the switchback from the Red Bull driver. But up at the front once again, Juka closing in. Darn doesn't have the best of pace right now. Richie B needs to clear him because he doesn't want to lose another position to the likes of Ripson and Jan Fehler, who are in clean air right now and do not have a time penalty. So with 1 lap to go, white flag flies this time around, FVR Darn leading the way, looking for his maiden victory here in AOR. He got second last week. He's got 2 other podiums to his name, but finally looking to stand on the top step of the podium here for the Williams team. It'll be 2 wins in a row for the Williams team, so you got to be happy if you are the Williams drivers. They're going to outscore their championship rivals McLaren as it stands. Patrick struggling through the middle sector, bringing out a yellow flag there. Leors looking to get a top 10 finish off of Daniel Rocker and Kev Janex, who are still on those softs. Probably should have pitted off of them a long time ago. But darn, he's got 1.2 seconds. Ooh, Juka. Juka's getting overtaken by F1 Racer, it looks like. Richie B struggling a little bit. Kev picks up a time penalty. F1 Racer trying to get on track, trying to overtake Richie B, who might lose his podium. He's going to lose his podium to the likes of Ripson and Failer. That's heartbreak for the Dutch driver on the final lap. He had the gap previously. Patrick retires in the pit lane, but it's all eyes on this man up at the front. FVR Darn in the Williams. It's been a while coming. He got second last week. He didn't have the pace over his teammate. He has 2 other podiums to his name in 2 other races, but now Darn is going to finish the Grand Prix as a race winner. FVR Darn wins here in Austria. F1 Racer comes home in second, and Ripson steals a podium away in the P3. Jan Failer comes home in 4th. Richie B will get 5th position. Rivershan in 6th. Juka is going to get P7 over Armate, who gets P8. Donald P9. And it's looking like Leors is going to round out the top 10 by pitting onto the fresh set of inners versus the guys who just stayed out on softs and realized that the race was kind of going downhill. That rounds out the top 10. The guys who stayed out on softs, heartbreak for them. Probably should have pitted onto inners. But congratulations to Darn. Mighty drive. That is P1, folks. There you have it, folks. Darn is your race winner. He's a 5th winner in 6 races, not as many races, but Darn on the top step of the podium, joined by F1 Racer and Ripson, who gain a little bit on Jan Failer, not as much as they'd wanted. But a very chaotic race there. 2 safety cars getting brought out, and with the rain at the end, really a lot of different strategies. That final safety car giving Darn the race victory with it getting wet enough. He made the right strategy call, pitting onto the inners, and there you have it. He is your race winner here today. F1 Racer on the podium. Wasn't close enough to win the race, but had phenomenal pace. Ripson rounding out the top 3 here today. We're going to go ahead and show the whole grid here. Unfortunate drives for the likes of Galaxy and Seb DNFing in that one collision. Tudor also DNFing, and Sarah Broughton DNFing as well. Very, very heartbreaking for him. It was a pretty crazy race. Actually, there were 3 safety cars, excuse me. So yeah, we go ahead and take a look at the race director for anyone that needs it. As you can see here, there was a bunch of time penalties. Hettinen did not have a good race at all, unfortunately. I think he did. Right here, you can see, I think he had the desync there, so that looks like where we suffered from the desync issue, unfortunately. It's heartbreak to see. But your race winner here today, folks. FVR Darn took the mediums all the way till the inners, made the strategy pay off, and he is your race winner here today. We're going to go ahead and switch on over to the interviews tab. We're going to see if we can get any post-race interviews. I'll go ahead and put in F1, PC F1. Yes, that was... I don't know. That was such a crazy race, folks. I mean, wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say. We're gonna go ahead. We got we're gonna bring him in momentarily. He is gonna be our first interview of the day. Oh man. Darn it, you are a race winner. You finally got on the top step of the podium. How are you feeling after that drive?
I'm feeling so good, Fizzy. I mean, it's insane. I just screamed on my stream, and I absolutely killed everyone that was on it, I think. But I was starting P15 or P13, I don't remember, P15. And my strategy was to go medium to inters, just like in France. And when the safety car came out at the end, I was like, okay, this might be my only chance to go to inters, because if there was no safety car from the whole race, I would not have been able to do that. So I'm so happy. I have no words. I have no words. I'm just screaming everywhere.
Now, like you said,
I mean,
the safety car did not, like, you had the early one, but then you didn't know when the rain was going to come. You didn't know if there'd be another safety car. How worried were you on the mediums before the rain came in?
tire wear was okay, because I could. My previous plan before we had this race and the rain was to pit on lap 10 and do a huge undercut with my teammate Patrick, because we were able to stick with like 26 lap old mediums and have a pace at the end of the race. So I was thinking that maybe if there was rain like around lap 28, that's where I calculated it on the timers we had on the game, and basically my jumps were able to stick, and then the call was just magic. I don't know how I pulled this out, but I'm so proud.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not crying this time, because last time I won, it was like 3 months ago, and I was crying everywhere because I didn't won in like 1 year or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's just so insane. And I mean, every race I finished this season were on the podium.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Every race you finished this season. You also broke the curse. If you remember, I said last week,
Yeah,
you know, the DNF,
right.
the finish, the DNF, the finish. Well, instead of a DNF, you got a race victory here today.
Yeah, if we can continue to do that, like P2, P1, I'm okay for that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was a huge result for you. We're sitting third
Yeah.
in the championship. This is
Yeah.
going to close in your gap on Ripson and Failure. You're going to get 10 points on Ripson, which you are currently, he's 35 points behind him. You're going to be, no, excuse me. You were 19
It was a failure.
35 behind Failure, but you were 19 behind Ripson for second. You're going to be 9 behind him after this one. Failure got fourth, so you're going to gain 13 points on him. So you're about a race victory behind him. So
Yeah, title is not finished. Maybe.
title is definitely not finished. Also, even though your teammate didn't have a great race, the McLaren duo only came home with 14 points today. So
Yeah, the win compensated for that, I guess.
yes, you did.
But, yeah, I was so sad for Patrick because he got hit on the safety car and then he couldn't box because he spun. I was so sorry for him, because on the track where there was no rain, he probably was the fastest guy on track with Failure, and he had the legitimate pace to challenge him today. And I'm quite sad for him, but I'm so happy for me. I mean, I hope that he can compensate a little bit for him, and I know he won't give up. Today we trained a little bit. You probably saw us.
Yeah.
And there is a good relationship with each other, and we can really push very hard. So it's so great. I'm living one of my best season in league racing, literally.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic drive. The team championship, I got a little bit of an update for you. You guys got 25 points. McLaren got 14. That's an 11-point difference.
So nice
you are
gap.
2 points behind the McLaren team now.
Yes.
So the constructors
That's
battle is full swing. Next week, we got Great Britain. How are you feeling about that? Do you think you can keep this momentum going, or is it going to be a little trickier for you?
I think I can keep the momentum going because I love this track. It's one of my favorites. It will be after Great Britain that I will have some issues, I think, in terms of pace. We will see, because I will not keep I will not stop pushing. So maybe Hungary, Zandvoort and Spa will go better than I think. But I have nice hopes for next week because I love this track. I'm not English, but I love this track.
Hey,
that's all I have to say.
It's a fun track to drive, that's for sure. I mean, this one was a fun one as well.
Great battles.
Yeah.
Nice G-Race train too. So there is quite a challenging part on that.
Now,
we'll see.
I do got one more question for you. Now, the last 2 races, you got first and second place. It went dry to wet. Do you just like the rain? Do you like, to gamble, go long, and then for the rain to come? Or is this like, you've just had good drives and that you were able to stick it through the wet?
I train a lot in terms of strategy. My dream when I started league racing like 3 or 4 years ago was to be really strong. So there is a part of my training that is working on strategies, imagining every scenarios, calculating things, doing telemetry works and things like that. And I really need to improve my work pace in general. That's where I like the most. But outside of my pace, I'm working very, very hard. So that's why I like these kind of situations, because I'm usually well prepared compared to the others. and that's where I try to maximize my chances. So I think it's sort of a not a gift. How do you say? It will come to me
Yeah.
when someone gives you something. It's like a gift, but I don't have the other word.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm so happy.
Yeah. I mean,
uh, it's just great preparation that make me born today, and it's the work I put every day on F1 and in every races I do. So I think I got what I deserved due to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think next week, it should hopefully it'll go good for you. You got some good form going on, and we're gonna look forward to seeing you back out on track. Congratulations one last time on
Thank
the win
you.
today. It was an absolutely, you pulled the strategy perfectly. You called it at the right
Yeah.
time, and
That's what I love to do.
yeah, you made it work from 15th on the grid. You're definitely my
Yeah,
driver of the day.
That's more insane. I thought I wasn't able to. I did not have the pace to win, but good strategy, and it came in the right way.
Yep, it did. It did. So congratulations, Darn. Have a
Thank
safe
you.
and happy rest of your weekend, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we head to Silverstone.
Goodbye.
Cheers. So that was Darn. He was our first interview. We got a couple more guys we're going to go ahead and bring in. We're going to bring in Tudor, F1 racer, and then last but not least, Jan Fehler. Tudor, it wasn't your best race of the day. You had a good start. You were making the strategy work, but then you had the spin. Talk us through what happened there, because we didn't catch it on stream. Where did it all go wrong?
It all went wrong here on the exit of the final corner. I saw Fehler finally overtook my teammate behind, and he was P2. And so I was thinking, like, okay, maybe I need to up the pace a bit more, but the tires just weren't really there for it. And so on the last corner, I went with almost all four tires on the curb, and the car just snapped, spun. Thankfully, didn't hit the wall, but then I lost time because I had to let all the train go through, so I wouldn't cause any issues. Yeah.
So up until that point, you were having a good drive. You were looking very quick on the mediums. Did you feel that, like, on the starting point when you were picking off some of those soft runners, did you feel like that you had the pace to potentially come home towards the front? Because you were on a similar strategy to what Darn did. Do you think that with how your pace felt, that today it's kind of like it was a race lost essentially? With you had a good chance and it just unfortunately didn't go your way, or do you think you were just kind of getting lucky? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, yes, I think I had a pace and I had a strategy to win the race, but with the rain at the end, I think it would have been a long stretch because my safety car, my crash at the end, obviously caused the safety car, which gave the chance to half the field to pit for enters. So yeah, I'm guessing if I didn't crash, there would have been a safety car. So stretching the mediums out to when the rain was actually hard enough for enters would have been on the limit. But if all went well and the rain timing was perfect, then yes, I think I would have had a great chance. If not at a win, then a podium certainly.
Yeah. So next week we got Silverstone coming up. How are you feeling about that track? Do you think you can rebound and have another good result around there? Are you feeling confident about it? What are your thoughts on Silverstone?
Well, I'm just coming this week. I also had another league race at Silverstone, and I won that in changeable conditions also. So yeah, I think I have a pretty good chance, at least at a podium. Yeah, I'm just hoping for a race with no spins, no crashes, no nothing, just a plain old boring race.
Now, final question for you. You did mention changeable conditions. Are you hoping for something like that, changeable conditions, a rainy race, or would you prefer it to be dry? Which do you prefer?
I mean, I like changeable conditions. I don't know. I've had several races this season and last season when I've made the right strategy call on the changeable conditions, and it always paid off well. So yeah, I'm hoping for some rain.
All right. Well, we'll see what the UK skies bring. We know they bring in a lot of rain, so you might get a little lucky here. Tudor, sorry to see your race go so badly, but hopefully we'll see you rebound next week. You've got a podium already on the name. Let's see if you can get a second one when we go out to Silverstone next week.
Yep. All right. Thank you
Cheers,
so much
Tudor.
for commentating.
Of
Cheers.
course.
Have a
of
good night.
course. You too, Tudor. Cheers. That was Tudor. He was our next interview. Next up, we're going to go ahead and bring in F1 Racer. Give me 1 second here. Hey, F1 Racer, you had yourself a pretty strong drive. You made it up onto the podium, got second place. Talk us through the race, because you were one of the only guys to go on the hards there, and for a time it looked like it was going to be a struggle.
Yeah, it was a struggle in the end, especially when it was mixed conditions. I didn't, when the prediction was like rain in the last quarter of the race and afterwards it could get dry again, I thought the rain would never got that hard that had to go to the inter tire, so I decided for the hard because I didn't expect the medium to last as long as they did, as Filler showed. But yeah, luckily another safety car came and I got back to position.
Yeah, you definitely had a really strong drive. You also you lost out on pole because of the fact that the aggregate, since what's his name? Excuse me, Daniel Rocker. Yeah, set the time faster than you. Talk us through that lap. Did you make a mistake somewhere that might have cost you? Because it looked like you were going to go purple, but if you remember that far back.
I don't know. There's a double left-hander in the second sector, you know, in the second one, directly in front of me, a Haas spun. And I wasn't sure where it was going, so I lifted a tiny bit. And I think that's maybe 100 that it was missing in the end.
I mean, second place in qualifying, second place in the race. Now you're talking about how you went on the hards because you didn't know how the rain did. When the rain did come down, what was going through your head? Because you were a decent way down the order still, right? If I'm correct, and you started picking off people, even the guys on the fresh inners. Did you just feel that confident with your wet weather pace?
Yeah. I mean, last week in France, we already had mixed conditions with the second part totally wet. And I saw that except from Jan or maybe Ribson, I was the fastest car on intermediates. So I thought at least, because I pulled away massively from Kev Genetics and the other guys behind in France. So I went for it because I thought maybe the guys ahead had penalties. And I couldn't stay in the back because I lost too much time. And I was kind of annoyed by the fact that I didn't pull the move to enter in the second safety car already. But yeah.
Yeah, you definitely.
Sometimes it's racing.
Yeah, racing. It is. I mean, it's racing. You were able to recover all the way back up into second position after starting there. Next week, we got Silverstone on the menu. Do you think you can get on the top step of the podium? Because you've looked very racy all season long. You just haven't really gotten onto the top step just yet. But how are you feeling about Silverstone with that coming up?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks. It was maybe it is my favorite track, aside from Spain, where I was second as well. So I hope it's gonna be a good race. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, let's wait and see. There are a couple of very quick guys, and especially again, congratulations to Darn, who pulled the intermediates first and got it totally right. And Jan lost out again due to a 5-second penalty through no fault of his own. So
yeah, I did see that. We'll talk to him and get his thoughts in here in a minute. But congratulations, you had a really good recovery drive. I mean, put Darn as my driver of the day, but you were down the order and then you made the strategy calls and you had the pace at the end to come back. So good job, congratulations. Definitely a very hard fought podium. Hopefully we see you on the podium again, maybe on the top step. You know, you can never rule it out. We'll have to wait and see though.
Let's wait and see.
Yes.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
You're welcome. Cheers, Racer.
Bye-bye.
So that was F1 Racer. He was our second to last interview for today. Last but not least, we're going to bring in our current championship leader, Jan Fehler. Jan, it was a very chaotic race, and I don't think you could have anticipated how that one would have gone. What was going through your head during it? Talk us through your race.
Well, there was a lot going on. When I got into the lead on the first stint, I tried to break away, but obviously with that DRS train and all these DRS zone, that's really not possible to do. So Rocker came back, and then under the safety car, I thought it's a no-brainer to pit, and mediums would last till the end, so I went for mediums. I was quite surprised that some people went for hards. Unfortunately, though, Mr. Daniel Rocker hit me on the safety car, and then I got a 5-second penalty, which I was sure would get removed. but because we had another safety car and then another safety car where I pitted under, I actually served my penalty, which I had no idea you can do on a safety car. So I couldn't get that removed in the end anyway. And I had a bit of a conversation with my chat on Twitch actually at the moment, because thinking about this, had I not served that penalty, I would have not lost the position to Ripson. And, well, whether or not I would have lost the position, if I got that removed now, I would win the race. But that would actually not be fair, because I, regardless of my penalty, after the pit stop, I was behind the field and closed up just because of that safety car. So it would actually be unfair if I get my penalty removed.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one. So I was very angry after the race and giving Codemasters crap about the game again. Like, how can you serve penalties under ICs? But apparently that's a thing. That's what you can do. And then thinking about it again, that it would actually be unfair if I get my penalty removed afterwards. And because of that, it's good that I served the penalty under the safety car. In the end, I sit here and think, well, I raged and was convinced, but now I convinced myself actually it's all great as it is right now. The only thing that's not great is how the race went for myself, because I think I could have won that fairly comfortably, especially after that first safety car when I got away from Patrick as well and dived through the field. Had a bit of a gap, and you know, without that delay with the safety cars, maybe the rain wouldn't have come in the end as early, and then we could have gone till the end on softs. But that's how it is. Was it P4 now, I think, right?
P4,
Still leading
yeah.
the championship, so
Yeah,
can't really complain too much in the end, I guess, after
Yeah.
thinking all about that.
when you come to the championship, you only lost 3 points to Ripson, so you still have a 13-point gap. Darren closed up a bit, but he was 35 behind prior. So yeah, the constructors, you guys only have a 2-point lead over Williams. So you're still, in the front of both of them, getting a little closer, but you guys are okay. One thing, I mean, you had the strategy right because of the early safety car. Because I noticed that you qualified on, you went to go to the mediums, you put it towards the front. Your time probably still would have been top 10, but you went to the softs anyways, and no point in asking, why did your strategy change? Because it worked for you. Do you think, though, that under that second safety car, I mean, obviously the guys who pitted onto the inners, they made it work. Did you ever consider pitting under that safety car for the fresh set of inners?
I did consider it.
Like, what was the reason that why did you think not to pit? That might be the better question.
Because I thought, well, before the race we had that rain forecast. Like, you have these 6 slots, right? I think 6 or 7, where you have that weather forecast, and only the penultimate slot was actually predicting rain, and after that the final slot of that weather forecast was predicting dry again.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, there's a bit of rain, but it's not going to be too much. Now we have that safety car. That's probably where the rain's coming down the hardest. So maybe because we have a safety car, I can just sit out the rain, survive 1 or 2 laps, and then it's going to dry up again anyway. So that's why I thought, okay, I just stay out on dries. And especially when I saw that I think 5 people behind me also stayed out on dries, so I had a bit of a buffer to the inter runners. I thought, okay, that was just perfect, and then yeah, we can go with that.
Gotcha.
And then in the end, I mean, again, for the third safety car, I also considered pitting again, obviously. I did not, but then I should have, because 1 lap later, Jeff said, well, it's into time, come in. And then I was like, well, there's no point in staying out. And I guess we saw from the 3 people that stayed out that was the right decision to come in.
Yeah, it definitely was. You were able to reclaim 4th position there in the end. Hard race, that's for sure. Next week coming up, we got Silverstone. How are you feeling? I mean, today you actually didn't get your first time you didn't get pole position. Do you think, first, 1, do you think you can regain pole in Silverstone? And 2, how do you think you will fare there, considering the fact that it does have a higher probability of rain, and we've seen some wet races recently?
Yeah, so far rain hasn't really helped me. I mean, you've seen what happened today. We've seen in France. I mean, I still got P4 and P3, right? That's not still too bad.
No, that's good points.
But obviously comparing to my wins that I have, obviously it's a bit worse. Not an improvement, right? And Monaco, we had a bit of rain at the start, which didn't really do much, but we all know how that race ended. So I just hope it stays dry in Silverstone, and then I'm confident that I can regain pole position there.
All right. Well, hopefully for your sake, you're able to pull it out. We'll have to wait and see. But good job today. You were able to still get P4. It wasn't the ideal result, but the race, it was a chaotic weather. And, a lot of things did happen. You unfortunately had the penalty and a couple other things happened. But you still had a good result. You still got 4th position, some good points. I look forward to seeing you next week. Congratulations still on the result, and have a safe and happy rest of your weekend and week.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day yourself and a nice race later on.
I will try.
Very good.
All right. Cheers, Jan.
See ya, man.
All right. That was our last interview of the day. Thank you, everyone, for joining here today. You know, it was a very fun race. We had a good time, action-packed. The weather was just absolutely crazy. We do have I see that in the comments, Sauerbraten had an issue with his overtake buttons. That is just heartbreaking to see. We also know that a couple of drivers were desynced with out of each other. We didn't see it on our end, but apparently Donut Hole, Patrick, Kev Genetics, Daniel Rocker, a couple of these guys were desynced in between each other. So unfortunately, that explains those issues and why some of these guys had some issues. But hopefully Codemasters get things fixed up and we'll be good to go. But for the meantime, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to our sponsors once again, of Elgato, SIMSOK, and Driver61. Be sure to go check them out on their respective websites. Check out what kind of products they have to offer. Elgato's got their beautiful stream deck, works like a charm, along with some other products. SIMSOK, they got endurance and racing socks, give you maximum grip, very comfortable. I'm looking to get myself a pair. Definitely would recommend. And Driver61, offering coaching and consultation sessions. Use code AOR Driver61 for 25% off a consultation session plus a free coaching session. So go ahead and check that out at driver61.com. Thank you to everyone joining this week. We will be back here next week, same time, 8 p.m. British Standard Time, for the British Grand Prix. It'll be round number 7. As for other AOR content, you always do have the F2 series, or the F2 tier, also streaming on our YouTube. Also, you have, later on tonight, we got the Americas League. I myself am competing in it. That should be broadcasted by Tipster. I'm not sure if Benikage will be able to make that one in time. They're switching up who is doing the official streaming since Benny's had some issues, so hopefully that quality comes better. And then this coming week, we're continuing on with our set of course of Competizione leagues. So on Monday, got Tier 1, Tuesday, Tier 2. We also have, I believe, Project Cars League has restarted once again during the week. And then, of course, like I said, we'll be back here next Sunday. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel. Take care, everyone. Have a safe, happy rest of your night. And we look forward to seeing you guys here next week on Apex Online Racing YouTube. Cheers, folks, and have a safe and happy rest of your week.
Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.